Andrew Demetriou, Chief Executive of the AFL. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Neil.
Ian Robson stepping down. It was James Hird who said when all this began that he accepted full responsibility. Doesn't that mean that in the end he's going to have to step down?
Oh, no, that doesn't mean that, because he, like other people within that club, Neil, are entitled to await the outcome of the ASADA investigation. That is going through its final stages, as I understand, with the players. We're not that far away from concluding the interviews, and on that basis they will then have an opportunity to finish their report. And the Switkowski report, Neil, was about corporate governance, and it went to the heart of who was accountable insofar as the corporate governance of that club, and that's why Ian Robson quite rightly accepted responsibility as the CEO, and that's what's identified by Ziggy. But, we do need to get the ASADA report finalised and hear what the outcomes are, because at the end of the day, I've got no doubt that they will uncover the truth, and that's when we'll hear more.
But isn't James Hird part of that corporate governance? He's head of the football department.
No, you could argue that the head of the football department is the general manager of football operations, who's got a reporting line into the CEO. I mean, the coach is responsible for the on-field playing.
But he said at the time he accepted full responsibility.
No, he said he would accept full responsibility, but again, we haven't found the outcome of the report. We don't know what substances were taken. We don't know whether they were, in fact, illegal or not legal. The outcome of that is entirely lying with ASADA, and it's very dangerous to preempt and prejudge what those reports will show, because they are entitled to have those finalised.
Do you know whether it's right that Tim Watson might be going back to a role at Essendon?
I've not heard that, Neil.
Yeah, no, it was on the rumour file this morning. Do you? Sorry?
Yes. Sorry, Neil, go on.
Do you know the interim chief executive, Ray Gunston?
Yes, I do.
Is he AFL endorsed for the job?
Well, it wasn't our call to. It was entirely a selection for the board. But we were informed of his appointment, Neil. I mean, we know Ray. He's very capable. I mean, he's run significant organisations, and he's been put there as an interim CEO. So I don't know whether he's going to be a permanent CEO or not. But I think for what they need at the moment, he will be very, very suitable.
Do you think that Essendon's form slump's got anything to do with what's going on here?
Look, now my instinct is probably. I mean, we do know the players are being interviewed at the moment. We do know that these interviews are long, and in some cases they are stressful, because the players are hearing things that they haven't been told before. And my assumption is that I would defy anyone in that situation, particularly if you're a young person, not to have it crossing your mind. So. Is that impacting on their on-field? I don't know, but I'm sure that it's actually weighing on their mind.
What do you mean they're hearing things that they didn't know?
I think during the interview process, Neil, they are being told about the practices and being told about various the potential for various substances that perhaps may or may not have been used. They are being told things throughout this process that they have yet to hear, because they haven't had the opportunity to be interviewed.
By the way, James Hird just at a press conference said he's waiting for the end of the wider investigation, as you say, but he plans to coach Essendon for a long time.
Well, he's got no reason at this stage not to assume that, Neil, because he hasn't seen the outcome of the wider report. So I think that's an entirely consistent position to take.
So you've changed your mind on whether he should consider standing down?
No, well, Neil, you asked me that question. I said as he goes through his thought process, that's an option that he may consider.
Okay.
So he will wait for the ASADA investigation, which is, quite within his right.
Hey, did you get to the bottom of that advertisement on the national tipping competition that was for kids, the schools competition? Telstra doesn't seem to be accepting responsibility for it. Who does?
I'm not sure if that's right. I know, and I found out quite immediately after that occurred, that it was a technical error. It was a technical error that was identified in some of the engineering and, the backlog of all the stuff that's prepared by Telstra. I think they've indicated that the error perhaps could have been caused as a joint thing between Telstra and AFL Media, but at the end of the day, Neil, it was an error, and it's been pulled down.
There's a few dodgy ones. Even Fairfax is running one up on the border where the kids bet on numbers which match the odds. So the odds might be $2.40 and the kids are getting 2.4 points. I mean, there are some really grey areas out there.
No, there are, and I understand the public angst about it. And look, I think there's now there's a groundswell of support, Neil, to have this addressed in a comprehensive way by the federal and state governments. We've seen what Joe Weatherall did in South Australia. We've seen the sort of backlash against all the Tom Waterhouse stuff. Look, I think it's probably the opportune time to look at these things.
Okay, the reports on Buddy Franklin in a disagreement in a bar. Now, it's argued he's saying he was provoked, and let's accept he was. You still have to be able to handle yourself a little better than that in public life, don't you?
Well, it's a good question, Neil. I mean, look, every person deals with these things differently. I mean, you're a public figure, I'm a public figure. I suspect you and I handle things differently. I've never lost my temper, and I've been the victim of lots of abuse and so forth. But, sometimes there are some things that can be said to people that are very hurtful, and they can hurt them, and they can lose their temper. And in the case of Buddy Franklin, that's what I understand happened. There were some hurtful things said to him, and I've seen it happen with players, particularly when they've been racially abused.
But he's been counselled many times, hasn't he? He's been counselled on this.
Look, he has, and I'm not condoning, but he has apologised, Neil. He's admitted the error.
Well, he says he didn't do anything wrong, but he apologises.
Well, again, I wasn't there when what was said to him, but from what I understand, if what was said to him was true, it's completely unacceptable what was said to him as well. I don't think there's a place for it.
I agree with that. But he's a big man, a small woman. He's got a responsibility to handle himself properly, hasn't he?
Of course he has. Of course he has. And he knows that.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Andrew Demetriou, Chief Executive, AFL.